Yazol.
Hello and welcome to the Hot Kitchen of Yazol Podcast. We are the three amigos, your story chefs on duty, cooking you some of the hottest stories from out there, Sot Sukun. And now, straight out of Vancouver, Canada, the big man, Zol Kabir on the wheels of steel. Please welcome DJ Bakumba.
Hi, what's up, guys? How you guys doing? Yeah, those who watching it for the first time, always subscribe, like, and share Yazol. Welcome.
All right. Yeah, and from Edmonton, his friends call him Le Japonais, music teacher and master guitarist. Please welcome Dennis Lissa.
Thank you all.
Yeah, and I am your chef on the grill, Dedi Seyi, Sultan of Small London, Zol Kabir, Mr. So welcome. Coming up today on Yazol Podcast, the highlights from South Sudan. Youth bury alleged rainmaker alive in eastern Equatoria. The Bright Stars lost their second leg match against Uganda. Police find guns and bullets hidden in granite sacks in Warrap State. From the African continent, the Nigeria-Libya Cup of Nations qualifier match ends in controversy. South African student finds almost $1 million deposited into her account. Guess what she did? Kenyan deputy president impeached. Drama during a divorce hearing in Zambia. On the international scene, a Nigerian student in the United Kingdom collapsed and died at his workplace. A blind Jamaican DJ uses cell phones to mix music. A British pop star dies after falling from a hotel balcony in Argentina. Finally, a Canadian TikTok celebrity is causing a shortage of a vegetable in Iceland. So all those stories coming up on the Yazol Podcast, Sot Sukun, the hottest stories from out there. And here is your African proverb of the day. It says, only a stupid cow will rejoice at the prospect of being taken to a beautiful slaughterhouse. That is from Zambia. Okay, let's go to our first story from South Sudan. Local authorities in eastern Equatoria are investigating some youth who buried a traditional rainmaker alive. The buried man was called Lohure. The youth accused him of holding back the rains and orchestrating a long dry spell. Of course, we know of an incident that happened in 2021 in a village called Muralopit in eastern Equatoria also, where a suspected rainmaker was buried alive because of a long drought. So a local official, Matthew Oromo, said they were investigating the burial of this particular rainmaker, adding that rain really does fall naturally, so there's no need for them to bury rainmakers alive. It seems it's a cultural thing because I know from history. I'm a student of history. Zaman, if Eastern Equatoria among the Lutuko, if you play around with the role of being a rainmaker, they simply bury you alive. So you always have to, because the rainmakers also make a lot of money, Bakumba, right? Money in terms of cows and all that. So they always tell them, yeah, bring me this, bring me that, I'll bring you the rain. So when they don't deliver, quick, they're buried alive. What do you think of this story, Bakumba?
That's the consequences of having big mouth, if you believe that you can control nature and then you end up in that kind of calamity. And I think it's been a long tradition in many African communities, actually. It's part of the spirituality, part of the African religious ceremonies and stuff that the certain sectors, certain people in the society that are considered either prophets or chiefs or traditional chiefs and things like that. So they claim that they can control nature, they can decide when it rains and when it shines. So when things don't go accordingly, the consequences are real. The consequences are very, very real. In my village, I think they actually burned them.
Oh yeah,
because of the drought, and then because you want to feel the heat, they actually burn you proper. So sometimes big mouths, we know very well that nobody can control rain, and especially with global warming, the drought is everywhere nowadays. So rainmakers, if you're out there, take care of yourself. Otherwise, you'll meet the wrath of the people, I guess. Yeah.
Yazol.
Dennis, is that culture there in Western Baradazal?
We don't have it in terms of rainmaker. We do have people who control rain, like if there is a ceremony, if there is a festivity happening and rain is about to fall, there are people that will consult so that they can stop the rain from falling.
Okay.
Whether it is true or it's just a superstition, but it has been something that has been happening for a very long time. They are not revered as kind of priests that can that are recognized, but they are just people. They think that they have abilities to do something.
To control the weather.
To control the weather. But do they have a formal title? No, we don't. They don't have that kind of a formal title as a rainmaker.
Yeah.
But they are just individual who claims to do so.
Okay.
There is something very important that I want to put, like people who are kind of priests. I think they are distinct from the people who are just practicing superstition.
Okay.
Because people who practice superstition, normally they are not chosen. They are just people who are kind of self-appointed kind of prophets. They are not being chosen. But there are people who are chosen. There are people who are chosen by the community, and normally they are not the one choosing themselves. They are chosen based on their own integrity.
Yeah.
They are chosen based on what they have delivered.
Yeah.
So if that person happened to be kind of a self-appointed prophet, claiming that they can deliver rain whenever there is a drought, so I think the community has the right to do something. So I hope we should have this kind for our self-appointed prophet who are claiming to do something. If their prophecy doesn't come to pass, something should be done.
Well, the problem is the penal code will come for you, right? Like in this case, it's actually a criminal offense. You just go carry somebody and bury them alive based on your own superstitious beliefs in your village. But I'm curious though, these rainmakers, when because I've seen YouTube videos of, for example, this one particular case where a YouTuber goes to a village, a Nigerian YouTuber. And then he's surprised to see that he was expecting the rainmaker to be an old man. And then this young Gen Z guy turns up, he's the rainmaker. And then, of course, he does his rituals at a corner somewhere. And it was dry when the YouTuber was going, telling people, whatever. Then all of a sudden, it starts drizzling and it keeps coming and it keeps coming. I don't know, because it's easy to fake those things when you're on camera. So maybe people out there will share with us. Do they believe that all these rainmakers and their gimmicks is correct? Do African rainmakers have the capacity to seed clouds, and cause artificial rain? I don't know. But it's a common belief, right? And especially in Eastern Equatoria, lots of people being buried alive. So we feel sorry for the family for losing their person, but unfortunate. Do stop. Rain is actually caused naturally by, it's a natural phenomenon. No point of burying people alive. Let's go to Juba Stadium, where the Bright Stars lost against Uganda. Basically, meaning the Bright Stars are out of contention for the 2025 African Cup of Nations. I know we have a few games coming up. Those will be more like consolation games. Bakumba, you think the coach really did anything good? Because it seems the Bright Stars have basically lost, and then draw and lost again. Should the guy be kicked out like Dedi Seyi?
Yeah, I think the Bright Stars have been a losing spree. I know they really try hard, but this game actually I was expecting something at least. The worst case scenario I thought is at least we are gonna get at least a point or so. But I was surprised that Uganda came and beat us at home. The game was really massively promoted, and the fans came out actually, and Uganda came out with huge numbers too to support the national team. It was unbelievable game actually, big rivalry. I hope it was I wish it was a friendly game, but the reality is that we're out. We are not going to Morocco anymore. But yeah, this is like we can't just be losing throughout. But I really don't blame the coach. Like as we discussed last time, there's a lot of problems in the team. The team is not being taken care of properly. The federation is like, I think we should start with the federation first. Kick out the federation and we start rebuilding for the next African Cup of Nations, which is going to be actually in East Africa, I believe, right? The Pamoja East Africa tournament, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania. So I think the first thing is just to deal with the federation, because players need to be taken care of. Those guys, if you see the way they're losing, this is a winning team actually. It just needs a little bit of resources for them to put their house together. So for me, I will not go for the coach. I will tell the federation first.
Okay. Because South Sudan is basically bottom in Group K and with 0 points, which is very surprising.
That's right.
You see the way they maltreat the players. It really messes up the morale of the team, right? A team has to be treated like, you can't have a situation of elephants and chickens. Like everybody has to be treated the same, you know. So let's hope for the best, and we're still garnering out for the younger boys. The under 20 seem to be doing much better, so we hope next time as they gravitate towards the senior team, things will turn out better. Okay, let's go to Arab State, where the police have detained a car loaded with 16 guns hidden inside 8 sacks of granite. They found bullets also mixed in the granates. Of course, this is all related to North Tonj, where community clashes have occurred, and it seems somebody basically out there is financing all that violence. From we can tell from the supply of weapons like this, because normally a person in a village somewhere will not have the capacity to go on the rampage. 20 people, 30 people dead, so many injured. Dennis, what do you think of this story?
I think the issue of gun control is a major issue that is coming up in South Sudan, because ideally nobody should be allowed to have weapons, but only the element of the state, the security, the regular army, they are the ones who possess guns. But now guns is in the hand of everybody, and this kind of a security issue for us. If it is not controlled, I think we're going to have a lot of issues, especially with what is happening now in the northern part of Sudan. It actually started in this way. People have guns in their hands, and then it developed to different ethnic groups have guns in their hand, and it developed into ethnic militia having guns in their hand. And that is what is snowballed now to become the Janjaweed. And with time, they become even more powerful than the state,
army, right?
than the national army. And now it become a problem for the state now to kind of put control over that. So we don't want to repeat the same issue. So if those guns are being captured, I think we should make more effort, because I don't know if since SPLA came to become a regular army, has there been an effort to make sure that guns are not into hands that are guns are not in the hands of the civilians? I'm not sure about that.
I think they in the past they did a lot of disarmament, especially in the Equatorial Corridor. There was a lot of disarmament, but of course then we had the 2 incidents, right? 2013 and 2016. When the war broke out. So basically a lot of guns flooded back into the country again, and now guns are in the wrong hands. So it always takes, I think the UN mission and the government basically helps in disarmament efforts. But if people have grievances and then there's this community against that community, and you're a businessman in Juba because you connected to one community and you want this or that resource, and you send guns and bullets to your village, people are going to die.
Of course.
That's a fact. Bakumba, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think most of the the nation is still tribal. Like the country is really divided in tribal chiefdom, tribal communities, right? So and then due to the fact that we came out of the brutal war. As you mentioned, there were a lot of disarmament that happened, but it didn't happen across the country. There are a lot of communities, especially the cattle keeping communities, they kept their guns. Most of them actually they roam around with their cattle across the region, well armed, being financed by some general somewhere. So there's a lot of lawlessness, and it's incumbent upon the government to crack down on those ones, because those guns are not coming from anybody. They're coming through the corrupt system of the government, through those generals who are there. They believe in that they can arm their tribes to protect themselves. So it's a very risky situation.
Yeah, and we know like the communities we have, some of them have, and in anthropology they call it the segmentary system, where from a very small it will start like family rising against each other, fighting,
Right.
and then the two families will be okay. Then it will be village against village, community against community, region against region. So those are issues that will not end unless somebody puts a stop to it. And in this particular case, they did to capture the weapons.
I just want to add, like, it now has become it is actually a security failure on the part of the government. A lot of people believe that if they don't have guns, nobody's going to protect them. Especially like in our area, in our area, there has been a time that there has been a lot of a security issue. So it become people are saying that like if we don't have gun to protect ourselves, who's going to protect us? And I think that's a major issue. If now community start to believe that nobody can protect them unless they protect themselves, that means there is a failure on the part of the government. So I think that should be something that government should take it as a priority to make sure that people have faith that government can protect them, so that they are able to release gun to the government, to the people who are protecting them, instead of them protecting themselves.
Let's go to Nigeria now, where a pilot who was flying the Super Eagles to Libya for the game was directed to land in a different airport, not in the Benghazi area where they were going to have the game.
They said it's from highest authority. You cannot land in Benghazi. You have to divert immediately to Labyrinth.
And this seems to have been a retaliation because the Libyans were subjected to something similar when they came for the first leg match in Nigeria. Of course, this is not only the first time. I think the Harambee Stars in the past also did say that they were subjected to some very long traveling times within Nigeria when they were trying to get to a match that they were playing against the Super Eagles. So back and forth. Basically, the African Cup of Nations between these two teams, Nigeria and Libya, has been postponed until a day that will be set maybe by the CAF. And they basically, from the word is, they're fining the Libyan Federation for whatever the Nigerians went through. Bakumba, what's your take on this one?
I think the thing that CAF, the Convention of African People, should crack down on those malicious kind of actions, because I think the intention is just to tire the players. You know how boring it is to sit in the plane. It's very, very tiring because
cargo plane,
be it cargo or even passenger plane, and unless maybe those guys who love to fly first class, but for me, like for me, I only fly when it's necessary, because I don't like the air inside the plane. I feel like the plane it's very exhausting. It's like it just drains you down. So this is just something that CAF will actually crack on. There's no point that people should be playing. We should have a fair play game when it comes to soccer, right? It's not really right for you to just tire your opponent, so that they hope that when they show up with the game they're already finished. So playing game is another. So I hope this thing should be cracked down, and I hope the fine is big enough so that to really be to act as a deterrent, so that we can have a fair play, because that's the behavior of unfair play. And FIFA or CAF should crack down on those that's a criminal activity actually.
Yeah, and in a similar case, you also know Kwesi Appiah, who was the Ghana coach.
Right.
Basically got bundled out because the federation thought he was losing too much. He took them to the World Cup. And he did a lot being a coach of Ghana, and then they kicked him out. Basically, summarily dismissed him. So he finds his job in Sudan. And now he's taken Sudan to the point of beating Ghana. Sudan is like sitting points way above Ghana. So and then now it's like, oh, okay, what is happening? So it seems these football issues are not only tied to South Sudan, where we're having issues with the Bright Stars. They're all over the continent. Tanzania, actually, the other match they had with Congo, I saw a video of a Congolese fan trying to explain to the Tanzanians, because Congo doesn't need the points. Congo is already sitting points way above Tanzania in the group. So Tanzania needed to win the match. But the reason Tanzania lost is because Nas Kobardel Mounusu can fi haja kan shuya kida tashari kala mingeba ini daka zitani making things to the world.
Kan Congolese magaramon haja kida.
Yeah. So siasa ta football.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway,
but it's interesting to find Sudan doing very well. You know, this like it's always surprises me I don't even know where they train, because Sudan is in a disaster. But they're actually doing well. I actually watched the game, which is really surprised. Despite the political turmoil and the military conflict, the team is able to pull together. So big up to them.
Last time the match they played against Ghana was supposed to be played at Juba again, right? Because they played Niger in Juba, and then this one was supposed to be played there, but they opted to play it in Benghazi. I guess maybe of support.
Most likely.
But it's quite sad. I hope Sudan gets peace and they can play their soccer in Khartoum. So let's go to South Africa, where a South African student, Sibongile Mani, found almost $1 million deposited into a student bank account. She attends Walter Sisulu University. After receiving the government money, guess what she did? She went on a spending spree. So basically she bought like expensive liquor, designer clothes, and the latest iPhone. In the end, she had spent over $40,000. That's when she was found out.
Are business-minded people who understand money. They don't spend.
Yeah.
They make sure that they use their money for a good cause, or they reinvest back their money. But if she just went shopping and buying kind of trivial things, and actually it is something that helps, that makes criminal easy to be caught. Like the issue of the hush puppy.
Hush puppy,
Hush puppy was stealing money, but instead of keeping quiet, he just went buying things like buying exotic car, living a very flashy life. With the money that he has been stealing from people, and that's how he got caught, right? So people who are criminal, like the professional one, they know how to pretend to live a very poor life and kind of steal money. But based on the story that you're saying right now, like the money got deposited to her by accident, so she's not a person that is used to money. So
so the girl the blessing in Rabuna Tawali go out and enjoy. I think she was sentenced to 5 years in jail, but I think it's been suspended because the lawyer did his work. She's not a danger to society, so I think they just put her to do some community service.
And before I forget,
and she didn't spend much anyway out of the balance.
So they got the rest of the money back. Dennis, you're gonna say?
And I was gonna say this explains why people who win lottery lose money very quickly, because they don't have plan for money. So there is a story that people who win lottery, they just go bankrupt in a year or two, just because of their expenditure habits. So this could explain why.
So in this case though, if she was like your girlfriend, your wife, your sister, what would you have done? There's all a legori sit back there. Would you have ratted her out? I know because for us there's the case of the guy in Uganda who decided to dress up as a woman. He went the extra mile, dressed up as a woman, and then went to do his girlfriend's exam, and then he was caught. So how far would you go? You know, Bakumba, do you remember that story?
Yeah, I remember that story. Yeah, I remember that story of that one. You know, he was in love, right? So he has to sacrifice everything, and that sacrifice requires sometimes putting out the makeup and some fake boobs and fake bum or something to appear as a woman. So people go the extra mile. But to this cash deposit, that if I know it's actually from the government system, I rather not touch it because it's pointless. The government will come for you anyway. There is no way. It doesn't matter how long it takes. It's gonna catch up with you. So that's the thing. Yeah. So at least if from other banks, you may have a second thought, but as long as it's from the government system, you don't touch it. And then talking about the balance, there's a friend of mine who used to tell me the story here. He said before cell phones, before they had cell phones, they used to go party. And if they go clubbing, before they go clubbing, they will pass through the ATM machines. You know, those garbage in the ATM machine collecting all the balances. so they find. So what they do? What do they say? They find they receive the highest balance. So when they're partying, and and they see a girl that they want to hit on, they will talk to the girl and then they write their phone number on that receipt. It's 100% guaranteed they're gonna get a phone call in the morning.
The gimmicks people play, but the balance really does make a difference.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of videos actually on YouTube of people, pulling up in Ferraris and trying to hit on somebody pretending, and then somebody sees the car, then they're like, yeah, accept. So money really does make the world go around. Yeah. Okay, let's go to Kenya now, where the Kenyan Parliament, that's the Senate and the National Assembly, have basically sent Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, on the run. He's been kicked out, impeached from office because of charges that he embezzled funds, stirred ethnic hatred, and undermined the government. Gachagua, of course, helped President Ruto, who is the current president, win elections 2 years ago, but he's been rubbing shoulders the wrong way with his former friend over alleged disloyalty and provocative public utterances. The president, which is William Ruto, has not commented on the impeachment of his deputy. And then Gachagua, during the Senate proceedings, was rushed to a hospital because he fell suddenly ill. Cabinet Minister Professor Kindiki Kithure is slated to become the next VP in Kenya. Bakumba, I know you do a little bit of follow-up. Do you want to touch base with us on that?
Yeah, the Kenyan politics has been very interesting, especially from the division between the president and the vice. Yeah. So it's just to cut the long story short. President Ruto and the deputy never got along. It's actually been only just 2 years since they got elected in power, and since they fell out, nobody really knows what exactly happened. But I think the vice president has been showing some ambitions, probably to run also in the few elections. So for President Ruto to protect himself, he reached out to the opposition leader, his arch enemy, who is Baba. Obviously, he reached out to Baba Raila Odinga. Raila donated his soldiers to come and serve in Ruto's government, and Gachagua became very upset, and the thing just continued until the president rallied together with Baba and impeached the guy. So, so it's African politics 101. So,
And it's funny, Ruto was in the same situation with his former boss who
that's right.
Too, right?
Yeah.
So it's just the same script being played again.
The same script. And he actually was lucky. The Kindiki was supposed to be sworn in, I think, today or yesterday, but the court actually they were able to rush to court and the court halted it. So I think he's going to be sworn in the next few days or something. But the vice president is gone. He's gone. And the deputy president, I don't think he's even, no matter whatever he lodged, I don't think he's going to win. But even if you win the court case, how do you become a vice president and the president doesn't want you? So it's very interesting politics going on down there. The good thing with Kenya is like there's no fighting. So they will always they will either do their protests, but everything life goes on. There's not much. There's no communal violence. So that's the great thing about the Kenyan democracy.
Africans say when elephants fight, the grass suffers. I guess this time the elephants are fighting on concrete.
That's right.
But I also see a situation where, for example, people will say, okay, now that we have impeached the vice president, maybe next time let's go for the president. So basically, the whole process has been laid out clear, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So, but it's the essence of democracy. You get to do whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Fortunately, today, I think Bakumba has decided to take a different angle. So today, there was a fight billed as the Battle of the Giants in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, where Cameroonian fighter Francis Ngannou knocked out Renan Ferreira of Brazil to become the PFL Super Fight Heavyweight World Champion. Francis Ngannou, of course, stunned Renan Ferreira with 1 minute and 28 seconds still left in the first round. He got a knockout. Francis was very emotional after the fight because of his son who passed away early this year in April, and so he dedicated the fight to his boy Kobe. That's the name. Quite an impressive win for Ngannou, though, right, Bakumba?
Oh yeah, very, very impressive for some of us who follow sports and martial arts, boxing, all these kind of things. So today was one of the big fights. And for Francis Ngannou is an inspiration to a lot of Africans and a lot of us who are out here. This guy left Cameroon in his early 20s. Through the desert, through the Sahara Desert, all the way made his way to Spain and all the way to France. And he became even a street boy in France. Found himself a gym at 22, and just continued. He just continued with his vision. His vision just to become a fighter, a boxer, or anything. So he has been conquering the world of martial arts and boxing like crazy. And he also he fell out with the other martial arts promotion, UFC. He stood up against Dana White, who is considered to be exploitative. He exploits a lot of fighters. Francis Ngannou stood up and just refused to sign another contract. That's how he ended up with the PFL, and with the PFL he guaranteed that the fighters have at least basic health insurance. He's the chairman of the PFL Africa zone. So there's a lot of things that Francis Ngannou is doing that's really amazing. So it's an inspiration, and people like Francis Ngannou, World Bank, and all great Africans really applaud you. So Alela Mapi Jelda best salute to all our heroes. But next week for sure, Jelda will be DJ. We just want to salute all those guys.
Zol Jelly Sot Alela. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So that's it for Sot Bakumba for this week. Sot Marco Yazol. Let's see what will happen next week, if the peace will last.
Yazol.
Now, when you hear that sound, you know what time it is. It's time for Beyond the Beats with Dennis Lissa, our resident music expert and teacher. And today, Dennis will be taking us behind the scenes at the Derek Cultural Festival in Juba, where the Derek Festival just announced Professor Taban Lolion as the South Sudanese Personality of the Year. This will be the 4th edition of the festival. Professor Taban Lolion is a South Sudanese academic, poet, critic, and novelist. The festival president, that's the Derek Festival president, Atem Simon Mabior, says the selection of the professor was to give honor to him for his role in championing literary writing in the country.
I think that's a really very good thing that Derek Festival has been doing and will continue to do.
Okay.
What Derek Festival has been doing in the last 4 years is trying to honor the South Sudanese artists, people who are permanent kind of figures in in arts, trying to honor them. Last year they honored Emmanuel Kempe,
Yes.
and this year they are honoring Professor Taban Lolion.
Yes.
I think that's a really good thing that Derek Festival is doing. So going back to Derek Festival, Derek, we know that Derek has been a permanent art figure in South Sudan. With his passing, people decide to do something in his memory to remember him and to promote the legacy that he left to people. And by doing that, they are trying to find South Sudanese art by going back into the history, trying to dig more about the South Sudanese art. Like, do we have something that is in common? What are the things that we have in terms of art, in terms of writings, in terms of music, in terms of the visual arts? So they have been doing that kind of exercise, trying to bring people together. And I really salute them for doing that. And they have been making a lot of progress. If they decide that they're going to have the 4th edition, that tells me that Derek Festival will continue happening in South Sudan. And it is something that I think we should keep on doing that, because we have so much to learn from it and we have so much to gain from it.
Maybe dig us a little bit into the background. Who was Derek in terms of the person that now the festival is based on?
Derek is like any other South Sudanese youth that grew up in a very difficult time. I would say Derek is a kind of a person who has found himself in the midst of adversity. He in the time that people opt to study medicine, to go for engineering, he did something that is very unique. He went to the School of Drama, that is in the north part of the Sudan.
Okay.
And on the part of the family, it was just a failure for a person they consider to be bright to go and study something to become an actor. It is not something that is people like it at that time. They want their son to be engineer, they want their son to be doctor and stuff like that. But Derek was guided by his vision. He had a very unique vision. He is a kind of a person, he knew from the very early age that he was an artist. He was so much into arts. So by doing that, he went and took drama and he excelled in it. And people in the North Sudan are more associated with Derek than people in South Sudan, actually. Like when he died, it was kind of a big blow to art in the north part of the Sudan. So to give you more about knowledge, so Derek is he is a multi-talented kind of a person. He's a linguist. He speaks Dinka, he speaks Balanda, he speaks classical Arabic, and he speaks English, and he speaks Arabic Juba.
Okay.
And what he did was trying to bring intellectual knowledge about the art of South Sudan. By the time that South Sudan was we had this Tawajjuh al-Hadari. We had kind of a policy by the Islamic government, policy of assimilation, to bring South Sudan to become an Arabic Islamic nation.
Yeah.
Derek was the kind of a person that did a counteraction by bringing kind of art that shows that diversity is a good thing. By diversity in art, we can bring a lot. And that time he created a kind of a band, kind of a cappella, kind of a band called Quado.
Yes.
Quado was kind of, it was a moving theater.
Okay.
Yeah, a moving theater in a sense that it is not kind of a static kind of a theater. Like you go to different place, people perform, and what people in the performance, like it is in a different language. People perform in Bari, perform in Balanda, people perform in Dinka. Yes. So the band member, they are forced to learn language of each tribe, in addition to Arabic language.
Yes.
So it kind of bring kind of a sense of unity and a sense of understanding people from other tribes. You can understand, okay, by doing this, that's why this is what the other tribe meant. You know, so it was a kind of a unique kind of a vision, and that kind of a brought awareness to people that, okay, it doesn't mean that we don't have a culture. It doesn't mean that we don't have an art that we can kind of stand on.
Right.
So there is something that we can take off from. So Derek has done a lot in terms of that. So it kind of brought different kind of people. There are people from the north that love South Sudanese art. They had wanted to understand how the South Sudanese art works.
Okay.
And he was kind of a person that kind of bring those two arts together and merge them. Like the southern view of art and then the northern kind of view of art. So he was kind of the person that is in the middle. So that makes him to become an icon. And I liked the first theme of Derek Festival.
Okay.
The first theme was he left us a method. He died and left us a method. And we can see that Derek has inspired a lot of youth.
Yes.
And many people are trying to walk in his shoes, trying to understand South Sudanese art and trying to go back in history and dig things out.
Yeah, and of course, if you're in Juba, please visit the Derek Festival. You can reach them through their Facebook and the website.
Yazol.
From Zambia, where there was a dramatic court hearing of a divorce case between one Mulea Mumba, a resident of Chingola, who shocked spectators with his heartfelt plea to his ex-wife Maureen. Mulea had sponsored Maureen through college, believing that her degree would lead to their marriage. I did the most gentlemanly, Zambian gentlemanly thing possible, he said. I took you to college, paid your fees and even bought you textbooks and rice. How could you now refuse to marry me? Maureen, of course, in confidence, said, you took me to college and paid all expenses, but that does not mean I'll marry you. So, of course, the court was in laughter and the judge struggled to maintain the court. And then people are saying now, the crying Mulea is called a crying sponsor. Basically, he sponsored this woman. But gisat, as they say, like you pay for her without securing the goodies. Maybe you should get the goodies first before you. Bakumba, what do you think?
I think that story is not for Zambia alone. I think it's a very, very common thing, especially in the African context. That there will be people, they can book a man can book a lady and just try to pay their way through this education system up to until that time comes, hoping that he has secured the goods, but that process is not guaranteed to any booking process. It doesn't guarantee anything. So unless there is a law enacted that can take care of that. Other than that, well, it's a choice. So life has choices. So you made a choice to do that without any guarantee. And after all, in marriage or dating, there's no guarantee anyway. It's all it's all a risk taking. So people meet someone, they take a risk, and if your risk is to pay to pay through the school system, it's gonna be tough for you to argue in court. That's why it become a laughter. Unless there's a strict law enacted. So that's only my take.
I remember a case where another guy also paid his girlfriend through school, and then I think she graduated as a doctor or something. And then she's now calling him. She's saying he's not up to her level. She's now a white collar person, and then he's blue collar.
Yes.
Dennis, what do you think?
I think it's a common story. I have heard a lot of a similar story. But for me, I don't say it is a love. Because love is for you to give without any expectation.
Yeah.
But if you're giving with expectation that you're gonna get somebody, it is more like a transactional. Yeah. And the lady is correct. It doesn't mean that if you pay for me through the college, that means I have to get married to you. Because if you are giving with and creating a sense of obligation, that relationship is not going to be genuine. It's going to be more like a transactional kind of relationship. So I will say love is to give and to give freely without any expectation. I have heard a lot of similar stories. The one that I know of, it is similar, the same thing that one of a carpenter is sponsored his girlfriend through high school until she set for a Sudan school certificate, and she became a doctor.
Okay.
And when she became a doctor, she decided to marry another doctor and leaving the
the carpenter.
Yeah. So I would say I'm not against any other woman there, but women are hypergamous, in nature, they want somebody that is high,
their level,
above their level. So if you sponsor somebody and they become above your level, the chances are they're going to leave you. So it doesn't mean that somebody was from Wasalat, I think Konyo Munuki or something like that. And then they're saying, all these girls sitting with us in Wasalat, they don't actually look at dating me, who is riding with them the same level in the Wasalat. They're actually looking at that guy in the V8. So women always look above, right? So let me ask you a question, or ask both of you. So what do you guys think about the issue of equality? Is it a myth, or is it something that just is only on the paper, or is it a reality that people demand absolute equality?
Equality in terms of men and women?
Yeah, because now there is that expectation that you want somebody on your level.
Yeah.
But for ladies, they want somebody that is above your level. So how is it going to be? Is it a myth or something that we just
No, I think personally, I think it's a matter of interest, right? People get into relationships with conceptions and thoughts at the back of their mind. I want to get married to this lady. I want to get married to this man because of A, B, C, D, right? So, and then people also change, unfortunately. I had girls who want most of the time they can actually marry somebody because of potential. So if you show the potential, girl, it is all Najar, and then you graduate towards designer Najar who can make beautiful stuff that can go international. The figures at one of the designers, Bolo Bespoke in Kenya. I don't know if Bakumba knows the story, but this guy just recently did a very big, massive wedding in Kenya. But he was pushing a cart, mukokoteni, in the neighborhood, and then he meets this girl, and then she encourages him to do tailoring So from the streets pushing stuff, he starts tailoring, and then he starts designing things, and then that designing business grows into this massive thing that is making him millions. And now they had I think he spent like over 10 million Kenyan shillings on this wedding. So you can see she married him for the potential, but actually the potential delivered. The problem is if the potential doesn't deliver,
we don't know. We don't know the end result. I think to add a little bit to Dennis' question also. Yeah, I think in terms of equality, yeah, we can be equal, but definitely we are not going to be the same. Because yesterday I was just listening to one of the podcasts that he's explaining how men were definitely the providers, were the protectors, were the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. He said why? Because can you imagine our sisters what they go through every month. They have to go through their period. And it's 9 months. They have to carry a baby. What other problem they do? What other problem do men have? The only problem we have, we must be punished by being the providers. Because we cannot be on a women's shoes. We can't.
That's right.
Yeah, they're just on a different level. So the only punishment is that one. We need to be able to provide. So if the girl child says she wants somebody who is a little bit higher, we shouldn't blame them that much, because they're already going through stuff that we are not going through.
Which is basically doing a rendition of the story of Adam and Eve, right?
Exactly.
So back to the roots. They say that we are going back to
the roots. Yeah, that's right.
All right. Let's go to the UK now, where a Nigerian student at the University of Hertfordshire collapsed and died in a changing room at his workplace. The emergency were called to resuscitate him, but they failed. The man had recently come into the UK to start university, but he was under extreme pressure to sustain himself financially. He was working day and night, trying to make ends meet. The late person was called Chinonso Ezemwomere, student of Nigerian origin. He came to the UK in September 2023, and of course he passed away on the 7th of October this year, which is just a couple of days ago. One of his relatives has organized a GoFundMe to raise money to send the body back to Nigeria. It seems sometimes when Africans come to the West, many people don't understand the system here. You can work yourself to death. The system will not stop. The system will not care. So you have to put yourself first. I know some of us go to all lengths to try to sustain ourselves financially, and then we're doing 2-3 jobs. I know personally at one point I was doing the same, being in school and doing 3 jobs. But it's not easy. Do it for some time and then stop, because it's taxing on the body. Bakumba, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's the pressure of a lot of immigrants, especially here from Africa. When they come to this country, there's a lot of pressure from family members, from friends. The moment anybody lands here, a lot of people believe that you can be able to help them. You're basically the savior, but not knowing that when you are there, those people never died. That's one thing that we need to know. When you are there, those people never died. Yes. Those people, they get sick, and they will always figure out how to find medicine. So when you come here and then you want to be the savior, or all of a sudden, then you work yourself to death, as you said. So let's be aware of that, and for our relatives and stuff and the other people, we be mindful that here, people really do work hard to try to survive. So let them not put too much pressure, but just do not work yourself to death, because those people never never died when you are there, and they'll never die. You probably will die and leave them there. Yeah.
I think it is a very very sad story, and I think we who are in migrant, we should try to understand the system. I have hung around a lot of white Canadians. I've never seen them working 2 jobs, 3 jobs. And the reason is very simple. They understand that when you're working 2, 3 jobs, you're gonna under-deliver in the 3 of them. You're not gonna be you're not gonna gain the expertise from any of those jobs that you're doing, and you're not gonna be kind of professional in them. And in addition to that, you will be taxed highly when you are filing your income tax. So it is kind of you're failing on all fronts. So most of them, they just want one job and they try to live within that budget. They try to learn to work smarter rather than try to do a different kind of a job, and then you are not making money and you're not learning anything. I would say that there will always be a job, but yourself, if you lose your life, you are not going to gain it back.
So condolence to the family. Maybe this should be a lesson to many who are coming to the West. Please be mindful of your health and body first. Anything else should be secondary. All right, let's go to Jamaica, where one Andre Bryan, a blind Jamaican man, is living up to his dream of becoming a top sound DJ. The 26-year-old lost his sight at a younger age due to an eye procedure that went wrong. So he was he was raised by a single mother, and he decided to defy his physical challenges by finding a way to make a living and support himself. So basically, this Brian, he calls himself DJ Squeezer, and he plays his songs from what in Jamaica they call banger phones. The old school phones. He uses 3 cell phones to actually do some very good mix. Bakumba, you're the DJ. How on earth is this guy able to use those cell phones and produce that sound? He doesn't have a mixer.
Yeah, that's pure talent. Pure talent. Somebody, a lot of people say when you lose 1 cent of your how many cents we have? Is it 5 or whatever?
6 cents.
When you lose 7 cents, when you lose 1 cent, the rest become crazy powerful. So that's pure talent. Probably somebody who has a sense of vision will not be able to master that at all. So he has developed his crazy intellect to master that kind of mixing, which I don't think anybody does that. It's unimaginable. I can't even think of how he does it. So that's completely pure talent, and kudos to him. We used to we also used to play music just to earn a little bit of living by mixing stuff using the laptops and stuff like that. But this guy is very impressive by using those old cell phones. At least he's not using the pen to roll the cassette backwards and stop it. At least.
So I just wanna shout to this DJ. I never heard him. I never saw. Maybe Dedi will send us some of the links so that we can listen to his music. But the thing that I want to mention is disability does not mean inability. We have a lot of people who have disability in one area, but they compensate it in other area and they excel. I happen to work with General Paulino, the one in South Sudan. Shout to General Paulino. I did a lot of work with him. He's a very interesting person to be around. He's well versed, highly knowledgeable in a lot of stuff. He's the kind of a person you can talk to him for hours and you won't get bored. But he has a very unique musical talent, and the way that he comes out with his lyrics is just very beautiful. With this DJ, I salute him for his determination. For what he did. There is something always about Jamaican that I really like. Those people, when they put their mind into something, they just go ahead with it and get a massive achievement. You have seen they managed to export reggae music to the entire world. and with marathon also, they managed to get a lot. Yeah, to get a lot of that. So I like that Jamaican kind of attitude. Like sometimes it seems like they are very aggressive, but they are very assertive.
Okay, let's go to Argentina now for a story where a British pop star, a member of the group, I think it's called One Generation. He basically was in a hotel room, and then there was a disturbance. So the hotel attendants called 911 saying he's trashing the room, basically breaking things. Then all of a sudden, this guy falls from the balcony all the way to the street, and he was pronounced dead because of massive hemorrhage, which is bleeding, both internal and external. And then apparently the story behind the scene is that he was having issues with an ex who is an American. And so they were having back and forth between himself and that. So probably that could have caused the death or whatever, but he was also having lots of drugs in the room. The police found drugs and all kinds of things and liquor in the room.
Yeah, I have seen a lot of people committing suicide because of their exes. Yeah, so
if you can't be with me,
I will die for you.
And life is still continue. So
it's like those ones who used to say, I'll love you until Lake Victoria runs dry. The ones what was yours like, Dennis? The love letter?
There is a lot of things. I don't want to say some of them on air because some of them will be used against me.
Against you in a court of law. Don't worry, we are not in Zimbabwe. I remember from our school days, because at one time I was a prefect. So one of my friends actually was a letter boy. He's the dean at the Faculty of Law at Moi University. My good friend Dr. Amwara. He used to be the letter boy. So when they bring those letters, they have to be announced to the evening assembly so that you can go get yours, right? So you will see on the back of the letter, bombasticated to this person, dedicated to this. They had some very kind of bombastic words. But the fascinating thing was some of them had crystals of sugar. So if you shake it, I love you like these grains of sugar. People go to all kinds of lengths. But most importantly, at one time in my primary school in Uganda, I used to do this on contract. I would be writing love letters for people. I was a little boy, I think 10. So Nascobar del Bijalana, they dish me like 100 shillings or like 200 shillings, miambili, miamoja, ta Uganda de. And then I'll write them because I'm a poet. It started very early. I would write this beautiful handwriting of a letter, and I would load it up with lots of quotes from Song of Songs. God, it did much for me. The dear of my days, I will love you until the end of the world, whatever. So unfortunately, this guy. But So there's a Canadian TikTok creator whose viral cucumber salad recipes have been viewed by millions of people and shared across the world. The BBC has reported that TikTok creator Logan Murphy, who shares videos with his 6 million followers, started making cucumber salad early this year. Maybe we should contract this guy for Yazol to promote us. So he suspects that his videos are so popular in Iceland because they are super simple and easy to follow, and they are fast recipes. So he holds out a cucumber to the camera and says, sometimes you need to eat an entire cucumber. Let me show you the best way to do it. Then he'll make his recipe. But the most fascinating thing is, in this whole country of Iceland, cucumbers finished in the stores because of this one Canadian guy. So people are just going to his recipes and following and then buying all the cucumbers and eating. And of course, Iceland is, I don't think they can grow cucumbers, maybe in greenhouses.
Maybe,
to get vegetables to that country is a bit difficult. Maybe, but it's what do you think of the story, Dennis?
There is something about those TikTokers, like you would assume that they will do something extraordinary, that they become popular for it.
Yeah.
But they are doing something like a very simple thing. Maybe we should understand that maybe to become a good TikToker is by doing a very simple thing. Like if you see,
just put your hand out.
Like Kobe. His name is Kobe, right?
Kabai Lame.
Kabai Lame, yeah. What he does is just he show you a very simple way of doing things, and now he has millions of followers. So it's kind of a different kind of a thing that we should learn from TikTokers. Like, what should we do to become viral? Like, is it by doing something very complicated, or just by being yourself and doing a very simple thing? Yeah.
So what could somebody do for South Sudan and Bakumba that would make you this massive following for TikTok? That I see that one,
Nothing Bakumba got a Jelda to sort that.
I think we just get back on the gate with a door or something.
Yeah. As long as I'm about for Gubamia. You can go viral. I see a lot of Nigerians swallowing the big poo and they're going viral, right? They don't. There are a lot of things. Yeah, there's a lot of talent out there.
That's right.
Definitely.
So that brings us to the end of this episode. Of course, thank you for watching and spending time with us. We look forward to seeing you again next Sunday, 8 p.m. Please don't forget to share, like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Yazol. And on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Of course, you'll get cucumber story in there. Find the links to all our social media handles in the description to this video. So tell a friend to tell a friend. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Bakumba, and may God bless South Sudan.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
So that's it for today.
Yazol.